Today we're going to be talking about finding surface area for rectangular prisms. And when we find surface area of rectangular prisms, we're talking about the area on the outside of a three-dimensional shape. And so what I have here is I have a Cheez-Its box that looks like this. And what I'm going to do is I've cut it up so that I can unfold it to see what we call a net. And so a net is, if we were going to take this 3D object, this 3D box, and we lay it flat, we cut it open, that's what our net is. It's the shape that we see when we do that. And so here is a picture of a net. And we use nets to help us find the area on the surface. We use nets to help us figure out how much cardboard we need for a box this size. Or how much wrapping paper we need to wrap a box and wrap each side of the box. So different things like labels, wrapping paper, cardboard, that's why we need to be able to find surface area. Or if we're going to paint something, we're going to paint the outside of something, maybe the outside of a house, we have to find the surface area of the house. We have to find the outside area to know how much paint we're going to need. Those are all reasons why we need to know surface area. And one of the things that we do for surface area is we draw a net. And so here I've taken my Cheez-Its box and I unfolded it and I laid it flat and I drew out the shape that resulted. And so here I just labeled it net, which I want you to do now. What we have is we have two squares that could represent two matching sides. So this square and this square, really they're rectangles, because when we label them in just a moment, we're going to see that this is 8 meters and this is 10 meters. If this is 8 and 10, then this side is the side that matches. So we can see that on our Cheez-Its box, I have, like right now, my top and my bottom. And my top and my bottom are the same exact size. When I unroll this, my top and my bottom have one rectangle that splits them, and then they're the next two. And so if this is 8 by 10, then this one is also 8 meters by 10 meters. Then I have my two sides. They're the two longer rectangles here. Now, because this side matches this side, this is all 10 meters, 10 meters, 10 meters. And then I'm going to give you the dimension here is 6 meters and 6 meters. So if this is 6, then this is 6. Remember that both my sides are going to match. And then this is like my front and my back here. And my front and my back are also going to match when we talk through this. So this side is the same as this side. We already know one of the measurements is 8. These are all 8. And then the width here is actually going to always match whatever this is. This is 6 meters, 6 meters, this is 6 meters, and 6 meters. That's because when we fold this back up, you can see my little flaps here. These two sides come together, and so these two sides have to be the same length if they're going to fold all the way. Now this Cheez-It box is a little bit off because it doesn't fold all the way closed. It should, but if this was going to make a complete box, then these two have to match. And so here I have my net, and the reason that a net helps us is because now we have 6 different rectangles. We have a compound shape that we're going to find the area of. By finding the area of each of the individual parts and then adding them all together. So here I have shape 1. Shape 1 is a rectangle that's 8 times 10, which is 80. But because there are 2 of them, 2 rectangles, 80 times 2 is 160. Then I have my green shapes. I'm going to label them shape 2. And they are 10 by 6. So shape 2 is 10 times 6, which is 60. And because there are 2 of them, that's 120. And then my purple shapes that match are going to be shape 3. My purple shapes are 6 times 8 to get the area of 1 rectangle. That's 48. But because there are 2, I'm going to multiply by 2, and when I do that, I get 96. And then I'm going to add all of those areas up to get my total surface area. In this case, 160 plus 120 plus 96 is equal to a total surface area of 376 meters squared. Now, surface area is an area squarea. Our label is squared. And so you can see that I squared my label. We also could now kind of start to understand where our surface area formula comes from. Our surface area formula says that we can do 2 times the length and width plus 2 times the length times the height plus 2 times the height times the width, and that will equal our surface area. And so you can see that we had length times width, and then we did that times 2 rectangles. We did length times height, and we did that times 2 of those rectangles, and then we did height times width, and we did that times 2 here times 2 to get our, and then we just add them all together to get our total surface area. And so today, again, we're going to be talking about surface area, and we're going to be using nets to help us. So what we did was we drew a net. We talked about a real-life scenario of a Cheez-Its box and trying to figure out how much cardboard we may need. And then we also converted that into the formula for surface area, which is 2 times L times W plus 2 times L times H plus 2 times H times W.